So Phil, we've gone through all the details and people can look back at those videos and you explain very well and in detail what this system does. But now's the exciting time because we're going to see it in action. Shane from Wagga Motors is going to step us through. What can we expect to see?
Well, basically, at the end of the day, here's a typical two-post hoist.
Yep.
So a lot of businesses right across Australia have hoists, or they might have a tractor, or they might have other machinery. So typically a hoist needs to have a pre-start checklist done and undertaken on it every single day, and also once a month. So previously, Wagga Motors would have done that by paper base.
Yep.
So paper base that's then put somewhere. So now, all Shane has to do is come up here, scan the QR code, it opens up the pre-start checklist for this exact hoist. He can complete his checklist. If there's something wrong with it, he can put an action. He can even lock it out and say that when it's the QR code scan next time, it says this machine is locked out, don't use it.
Wow.
So but when he completes the checklist, it goes straight into the system as a record in the checklist, but also against the plan item. But now remembering, the new monitor gets automatically updated to a green tick.
Ah, great. Okay, well, let's see it in action because we've talked about it, but now we want to see it. So here's Shane, who we mentioned before, Phil, and the first thing we're going to do is scan the QR code on this tablet. Tell us what's coming up here.
What's actually happened now, it's actually brought up that checklist on that tablet.
Okay, great.
Big thing, he didn't even have to enter a username or password.
Right.
So therefore he scanned the QR code, takes him straight to the checklist. Now he's completing the checklist.
Yep.
Finishes the checklist, automatically saves it into the system. If there's something wrong, he can actually set an action to automatically email alert the manager or wherever it may be.
Yep.
And not only that, he could lock that out.
Okay.
So it's all in a matter of seconds, whereas previously he would have had to do this by paper base.
Yep. And then go and file it somewhere.
And then file it somewhere.
Which could get lost.
Could get lost, and not only that, you can't keep a record, you can't keep graphs, can't track it.
Okay, so what's he looking at now? What are we going through on the screen that we're looking at?
So there's certain things in that checklist to check the pre-start checklist.
So first thing is he's doing a visual inspection, making sure all decals and control markings are present, and it's a simple yes or no, or non-applicable depending on what it is.
Correct.
Then he's doing the next, adding a hazard. Now, we talked about this in the little interview before,
Yep.
but what's a potential hazard that he could add here?
So let's just say, for an example, if there was something wrong with this machine, he could actually put it in there that he can select no, it'll bring up an action or a hazard, he can log that,
Yep.
and it'll go into the appropriate area, lock out the machine. So basically what that checklist there, they've customised that checklist for this two-post hoist.
I can see that as well because down here it's got something as specific as the pickup pads and whether they're in good condition,
Yep.
and also the hydraulic fluid levels. So these individual items means that there's nothing that can be missed, is it? Because you're just basically going through and saying yes, no, which means someone
Yep.
has had a look at that specific item.
And what it's also doing, so you're looking at, because they've got a duty of care to record all this, it's automatically going into the system to show their history of keeping this hoist in a safe working order.
Great.
So that's how easy it is to do. But like, say, for an example, if this was a tractor, you could build a customised checklist inside the system for a tractor. If it's a truck, you can do that for a truck. Any machinery, you can actually... Every bit of machinery comes with a user manual. And in that user manual, it'll actually highlight what checklists need to be done for that machine. Then you build them inside the checklist builder, creates a QR code. Now Shane just has to scan that QR code to complete his checklist.
Now this is great because if there is an incident, which you can again report through the system,
Yep.
and then days or weeks later the insurance company comes around, they can go through this and see exactly what's been checked off and what hasn't been.
They can scan that QR code and go down to the bottom there to see every single checklist that's been done to this hoist, all the maintenance that's been done to this hoist, so all the details of that hoist, even the capacity.
Okay, great.